Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Echo Underground podcast. I'm Shanique.
I'm Mike.
And on this podcast, we talk about movies, music, and TV shows and any other interesting topics. Today's episode is about the Netflix movie Burning Sands. So, Michael, what do you think of this movie?
This movie is a good example of something to watch if you want to be angry for about an hour and 40 minutes. If you're in a bad mood going into this movie, I don't recommend you watching this movie. If you're in a good mood going into this movie, I don't recommend you watch this movie without knowing that you're about to be in a bad mood. Cause it covers the topic of hazing throughout the movie and the trials that five guys went through in 1 week to join a fraternity in a college. And yeah, it had me popping veins in my forehead for about an hour and 40 minutes.
So, what would you rate it, like, out of 10?
Oh, the crazy thing is, as much as pissed as I am at that movie, I like the movie. Like this is a movie. Oh, there's like real good actors in here. Out of 10, probably like a 9. Like it's a really really good movie. And like the fact that it gets this much emotion out of me says something. Cause like when movies do that, regardless if the emotion is positive or negative, then it's done a good job.
For me, I definitely agree with you. I would give it like a 9, 8.5, around that range. I knew walking in I would be pissed because I saw the trailer.
Oh, I
Saw the
didn't see the
trailer,
trailer.
and I was like, I know what this movie's about, and I can't get down with it. And it does bring out a lot of emotions. I thought the acting was really good. It has that guy from like that Medea movie, Diary of an Angry Black Woman, and
Mm-hmm.
he was the husband,
Mm-hmm.
and in this movie he was a
The
dean.
Dean, right,
Yeah, so I was like, all right, every time I see his face, I know I'm gonna be mad
right.
because he always plays a bad guy now. But I actually enjoyed the movie. I have issues about the ending, but we'll get into that. So let's start with, I don't really even have a favorite character in this movie because there were times even the main character was like, eh.
Everyone takes turns pissing you off while
Actually, you
watching
know
this
what?
movie.
Take it back. My favorite character in this movie was Frank because I kind of like his little arc in the movie where like he was annoying, like all about himself, like especially in the beginning scene when he was like, oh, when they were like the guy in the dress. So one scene that actually the first scene that pissed me off was when they made the pledges do push-ups and they single out Zurich and he kicked him in the stomach, in the ribs as he was doing the push-up. So his friends with the dreads, who was like the sixth pledge, would try to take it for him, which is a good example of brotherhood. And he was like, so they kicked him out for it. They kicked him out for it. And so he had to walk 5 miles back to the dorm by himself. Now I would have been pissed. The guy in the dreads was the only smart one. He left at the right time. Cause he ain't go through half the crap the other ones went through, and hopefully it's worth it. Cause just because you join a fraternity doesn't mean you actually gonna get that, like get into those places. But it's a really good step up. And like Frank was like, "Oh, I'm snitching if we give him a ride." I'm like, "All right, you're being kind of an ass." But as the movie goes on, his friendship with Zurich and the other guys improved, and he ends up being like essentially kind of like the ride or die person. And he kind of showed that at the end with Hell Knight. It didn't work out for him in Hell Knight, which we'll get to, but I guess he would be my favorite character if I had to pick one.
You see, it's funny you should bring up the guy with the dreads because you said it's ironic because you said he was trying to try it for a brotherhood and he's actually showing a good example of brotherhood by trying to take blows for another guy who, as you find out later in the movie, had like his ribs fractured from that kick while doing push-ups. Now he jumped in front of it, which is actually an act of brotherhood. He's protecting the guy he's beside, similar to like how you are in the army. Like he's trying to take the blows for him, and for some reason, using acts of brotherhood, trying to get into a brotherhood gets you kicked out of said brotherhood. And I don't know, that was a little ironic and a little like counterproductive considering what they're trying to work towards. And it's one of the things. It's one of the first parts that made like the movie starts out with this and like you're immediately mad. Like it's early in the morning and like they're on their way to like the first day of what they call Hell Week, by the way, in this movie, which is pretty much like 5 days of literal hell. We're gonna get to like some of these days and like tell you what
Yeah,
happened, but
this was just Monday morning.
this is just Monday. The sun just got up
Yeah,
and the BS has already started in full force. Man, I don't know what to say, man. Like
yeah.
I'm already getting mad again just talking about this, really.
Okay, well, let's talk about each hazing thing. I think the next hazing thing they went through was the party, was it not?
Well, they did have. I mean, I don't know if I can call this a hazing thing, but they had like the little errand they had to do to like pick up the burgers and drop them off. But I don't really think that was a hazing
Actually, yeah,
issue.
you're right. The next thing was they had to buy food for them, and so they walked in, and all the brothers had like this brand, because you get branded if you're actually in the fraternity. And I think after some time, because we saw one of the fraternity brothers just get their brand
Yeah,
in the movie,
yeah.
so it takes some time to actually get the brand.
Even after joining, right?
Yeah, so they had to bring it all in, and they had like this fat guy, which excuse my language, but he had some huge titties. I was like,
Yeah.
whoa. And he had a girl in the room, and they had to like yell at them and do all this stuff in front of them. And then they was like, "Where my cheese? Where my eggs? Next time, bring it." Yada yada. And I was like, all right, this is not that bad. I could deal with that more than I can deal with the stuff that happened later in the movie and the scene before then. And then like, what was the next thing? I think you also had these rules that they had, like you couldn't watch other fraternities step until you was actually a member.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't be on certain parts of the campus until you was actually a member.
Can't talk to the dean.
Well, I think they didn't want them to talk to the dean because they thought he was snitch. I don't think you actually. They can't be like, oh, you can't talk to the dean. I think because it seemed like he might have snitched.
That's still something that could make it a rule though, because like to make them easy with seeing what's going on, they don't want to see you talking to the dean. So they probably like, considering how they treated him for seeing like I know we're joking around here, but like when the main character Zurich, he talks to the dean and like it's not necessarily a rule, but it's something that they're not necessarily comfortable with. It's
because
like
they were beating his ass.
Yeah, they.
And plus, the dean's also a member of like the fraternity, so that's another reason they was like, we don't want you doing that because it thinks like, oh, okay, you might snitch on us, blah blah blah. Another, and then I guess it has to be the party because they make them do the beer run and everything, and then they get mad at them because they don't come together because
there was a car wash at first.
Was it the car wash? I think that was afterwards.
The car wash was on the Tuesday. You know what? Maybe I might be getting the timeline wrong. Tell you what, go on. Maybe.
Because I'm pretty sure that was afterwards. Because they were saying my butt hurt, and then the next day they were doing car washing.
Maybe.
Whatever. We're gonna get to it anyway.
Yeah.
They were doing the party. They made them do the beer run. Zurich was kind of late. And they yelled at him for not being discreet. Because I'm pretty sure these guys are like freshmen or something like that, and they're not even supposed to have beer anyway.
Yeah.
And they yelled at them for not being discreet because you can't bring beer on campus. At least from what I remember, on certain parts of campus, you're not allowed to have beer wide open like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so yell at them there, and they also yell at them, all five of them, for not coming together because Frank and this other guy was like, "Screw y'all, I'm not waiting for y'all." But that's not how it works. So they got yelled at for that. I didn't even mind that. I also didn't mind when they kept making them repeat the mantras. That was actually really good.
By the way, they know a whole bunch of mantras. I'm surprised like they kept up with all of that prior to Hell Week or something. Because boy, it's like every other day, or actually every day, it was like at least 3 different mantras that they said like sternly, with like confidence in their voice, quickly. Like they are like doing some militaristic type recitals for these mantras. I thought that was impressive.
Yeah, I was just like, whoa, okay, cool. So I actually thought that was a good party. And then they said, oh yeah, enjoy the party. Yeah, I didn't really get to enjoy no party. You did see a step show and party, which I thought was cool as well.
Zurich got to dance as well too, yeah.
Yeah, he got to dance with that other girl. And then they took him to the basement, and that's probably the most fucked up scene in the movie to me. I can't get over that scene. That scene, I would have automatically quit. I wouldn't fought them because I'm surrounded in a basement. But as soon as I left that basement, that would have the last time you see me. I would have dropped and I wouldn't have not cared. That's really how it would have been. I've been perfectly okay getting my, medical degree and calling it a freaking day.
Yeah, because we find out Zurich is in college to do biology and pre-med. So I'm just thinking to myself, like, is going through all of this worth it to be like a doctor at some point later in your life? Because like, it's just really weird because this is one of the first parts in the movie where like your BS meter, of how much you can really tolerate keeping your eyes open and watching this movie. This is really where it starts hitting the needle starts hitting the end of the meter. Like you're watching this happen for like a good couple minutes, and I had a comment about this part. I'm thinking, there's no way that this is going on for this long with nothing but a basement full of black guys. Getting bent over and spanked with like what's equivalent to what
that was not a spanking.
Looked to me like a 2x4 with baseball swings at someone's ass.
That's not how
Now,
you spank. You do not spank by like taking a baseball bat in the form of a paddle and going bam. And I was like, yo, and then he almost hit that guy in the back too.
yeah.
That's a beating. They were literally beating him with the paddle, and I think the only reason they beat them on their ass is because the guy mentioned in a comment that like injuries from like neck up, anything that they could see
Mm-hmm.
is bad, and that's why like they probably do gym and stuff. So if they took off their shirt, you'll see injuries on the back and stuff. And like that's probably why that guy was wrong for kicking him in the ribs too.
Yeah.
But I don't think that other guy found out that the guy that was like the leader of the pledges. I don't think he found out that Zerk got hit in the ribs until like later in the movie, and that's why he got that guy to help him.
Mm-hmm.
But he wasn't supposed to do that because the guy said, "Yo, like anything up the body, I get in trouble for." So he wasn't. That's why I'm pretty sure they hit him in the ass for that reason. But it was intense how they hit him though. It wasn't even like hard. Like okay, he was like swinging on it. Like they did something to him.
Like they owe you money or something. Like I was wondering what was going on. I feel like that came from like a personal place. But
I
like,
know.
but like watching the movie, like they clearly don't know them prior to pledging. So it's like this seems like a vendetta. I feel like you got something against me.
Yeah, they were like extreme. I was just like, whoa. And then the worst part, not only, and this is before they get beat with the paddles, is he spits in the guy's face.
Oh man, yeah.
And it was like, like I heard, it was not even fake spit. It was full on spit.
Yeah.
Great
this is
aim.
hardly acting at this point, guys. This is not CGI. This is like real saliva on another man's face.
And he had to hold still and not swing. There was one scene though, the guy did almost swing. And like the brothers had to grab him real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Because they kept, also another thing that pissed me off, they kept doing that mush head thing. They was like, beat it. And then like they kept smacking the shit out of their heads, and I was like, they did that with the guy with the dreads. I was like, hell, you kicked me out now. Why I gotta take those hits?
Right, like you have no reason to not retaliate now. Like, okay, people who are pledging can't retaliate. So if I just got fired, I can do and say whatever the hell I want to say, you know?
I mean, but he might have asked the Pledge Brothers to help him, so it probably would have.
It might have been that, but man, I don't know. You don't even see this happening in the military. The worst you get in the military is you get down to do exercises or have your whole group do exercises, but you will never get the physical abuse you see in this movie. This is not even physical abuse. It's just sort of bullying and psychological warfare to an extent.
Yeah,
it's just really weird.
And this whole like humiliation, like
builds humility or something like that.
Yeah, and like they were like smacking them in the head and then they spit in the face, and then they beat them like they did something wrong.
They literally got beat like slaves. I'll give it that.
Yes, they did, and I was just like, what the fuck? And then like then the guys were like, I don't know what happened to Zerk's back though, because he had all these marks in the back, and we didn't see how he got that.
Yeah, I had a hard time figuring that out too.
The boys were like, what the fuck? Maybe they beat them on the back anyway, or they would punch him in the back, and we just didn't see that part. We just saw the paddle, and then he finally took off his shirt, and he had bruises on the back, and we knew about the ribs happening. But I was just like, dang, like I hope that it's worth it, because there's also one scene that I actually liked, which was after the party, after that beatdown. The leader of the pledge, he came in, which he's like the grown up version of Little from Moonlight, if anyone's seen Moonlight. And he said, yo, you're a community, these are your brothers, you can call them and they'll help you out with jobs, or they'll be there to support you. So you saw each of the 5 guys talking to one of the big brothers who were actually in the working field. And Zerk called big brother Malcolm, who's in the medical field, who's actually a doctor. Malcolm was like, I can hook you up with one of the best residencies in the state. Mm-hmm. I was like, all right, cool. Some benefit to getting your ass beat. But still, the scene, I would have quit. I still would have quit. Even after I called him, I'm like, nah, son, I'm sorry. My ass hurt. I got broken ribs. I had bruises on my back. I ain't do anything to y'all, so no.
Yeah, it's weird because I'm a strong believer in that there's some kind of discrepancy between how the hazing went on when the big brothers were in college versus how it's going now. Because I don't feel like the same techniques got passed on. I feel like over time, like this doesn't ever get proved, but I feel like over time, like things just got really, really violent. And I don't know if like they're just assuming the same things going on behind their backs, but it was just really, really weird. I don't know if they know. Because I feel like if they did, somebody would have said something.
When you say big brothers, do you mean like the Dean's age or the
Well,
ones that's doing it?
I'm sorry. When I said the big brothers, the ones already out of college with the jobs out in the field, like the 5 guys that they called, and including Malcolm, who was a doctor. Was he the doctor?
Yeah,
he was a doctor. And like I don't think that they knew. And I know I hate jumping over.
Well, I think they did because Malcolm said that anyone ended up in the hospital yet. So I think he knew.
You see, I think he might also be exaggerating because he said he saw this a dozen times. As a doctor, that's irresponsible to know of and then still allow. Like,
I mean, they had him on call. They was like, yo, when like Zurich, like, just skipping ahead, but when Zurich like passed out because he couldn't breathe because of the rib damage, they took him to Malcolm. So that means he did it before. This wasn't like new. This wasn't new at all. So this wasn't the first time. I
mean, if it's not new, then it's just straight up ignorant. Because that means you're a medical doctor who took an oath, and then it's just like allowing this to happen behind your back for the sake of a fraternity. Like I know a lot of rules get broken for the sake of pledging into this fraternity. Like I don't know what the actual process is for real life hazing, because I know clearly this has come from some place of reality in the real world. But I hope that it doesn't happen at that frequency that I think it does now, because I have my own opinions on fraternities and whatnot, and sororities for that matter. But it's just weird. I don't know, man. I try to weigh the pros and the cons of getting my ass bending over. See, I don't know. I gotta go back to that for a second. The basement scene with the guy getting spanked. I had a comment saying that these guys are clearly getting some kind of arousal out of this. Here's why I'm saying this though. You don't have bend over 5 dudes in the basement and take turns spanking them and having them recite something. That's some BDSM type shit. That's not really okay. Like that's some. All they need was whips and chains to make it any weirder, yo. And like the one guy, I feel like I don't know if it's like a power thing in the head that turns him on. Yeah, Big Country, the big fat guy with the titties. This guy was about to like snap someone's back with a bomb damn paddle, like she mentioned earlier. And like this is. If someone's beating the shit out of me like that, I don't even think they hate me anymore. I think they're just trying to have like some kind of like sexual thing.
Well, I think it's also like they had power and they were abusing it. I think they got off on like, hey, you know what? I went through this, so now what? I'm gonna do it to other people. It was kind of like that mentality. I don't think they were like getting off on it that way. I just think like, hey, I got beat like this, so now it's my turn to beat the next group of people like this. And it's a cycle. Because I bet you Zurich, when he doing there, actually maybe not.
Exactly. I'm about to disagree.
Because of the end of the movie.
I'm about to disagree with that too, right?
If that didn't happen to Frank, he probably would do it.
Frank is probably the only one who'll go through with it. And I think the one other guy, I forgot his name.
No, after what he saw with Zurich, I don't think he would.
Not considering the ending, but like, because the ending kind of like changes everyone's mind. The ending is like a really, really high point of the movie. But I'm talking about like before the fact when like, we can see that they're true characters. Like Frank is kind of a wild guy. He kind of like played by his own rules, but like he played by these rules long enough to get into the fraternity. And there's one other guy I'm forgetting. It was Frank, Ernest.
It was Dwight.
The Christian Dwight.
And Dirk. That was it. It was only 5.
Okay, all right. I guess that was it. So I guess probably just Frank's going to be the one weird guy trying to like repeat the process right here.
I don't think anymore though. I don't think towards after the end.
Well, yeah, like I said before, the end gets considered because the end kind of like it's a roller coaster ride for the end right there.
Yeah, and then like another thing that I forgot to mention, that weird bathroom scene.
Yeah,
where they catch him talking to the dean, and they like turn on the water to be scalding hot to try to punch him, and then I was just like, we trying to burn people now too? Like that's a little extreme. These are permanent scars if you burn him.
Medieval torture type method they're using to have you join their little club, man. It's really weird.
That one was a little homoerotic. I was just like, whoa, got a little bit weird about it.
Yeah, the way the scene is set up too, I thought something was about to go down like that. Because one guy, now one thing I gotta mention about these frat guys, almost everyone with the exception of Big Country is like greatly in shape. Like this is envious of any man to look at. Like, damn, these guys are like in the gym every day, all day.
Yes.
And like in this bathroom scene that she's mentioning right now, one of the guys walking in with him with a towel on. And Zurich has his back to one of the bathroom, what do you call that? Bath stall. One of the showers, right? And the guy comes in wearing nothing but a towel, and it makes you think, okay, this scene just escalated from burning my skin off to whole ass, jail rape. And I'm like, that's literally what happened in my head. I'm like, oh god, this movie just escalated way too much from my emotions right now. But then you realize this is the one guy who actually has some sanity with him. He actually like says, all right. this is a little weird. Why are we trying to burn his skin off? He'll have this problem for probably months, maybe the rest of his life, depending on how far you guys are going to take this. So I'm glad this guy came in and completely neutralized the situation. Granted, I thought something else was going to happen. Thank God it didn't, because then this movie would have been way too much for me. I don't know about that. I've never been to a university where fraternities existed, but no, I'm not about to have my skin burnt off. I'm not about to get kicked in the ribs. I'm not about to get spanked. I know you don't call it spanking, but I feel like if someone's taking home run swings at my ass with a piece of wood,
that's not like I only reason I said it's not spanking.
Yeah.
Because spanking's not that hard.
Yeah.
Another level. That was literally you beating me.
Yeah.
Like you took a blunt object and was beating my ass with it. And then another scene I think was, which scene? The tennis balls in the pool. So like at this time, Zurich barely could breathe. Right? He barely could breathe with his ribs and stuff, and he's limping around. And they make him do like those squats, and they have to hold it for a really long time. And then they make him go into the pool, and they just chuck tennis balls at their backs. And I'm like, more damages for his ribs. More. I'm like, come on, man. But at this point, they don't know. I agree at this point they don't know, but I don't like that scene either. Because, like, if they hit them wrong, it would have been a wrap, too.
Well, you see, this is one of the things where I think they go back on what they said earlier about avoiding the head. Because, yeah, his ribs do get affected by this. But you got to understand when they jump in the pool, only their heads are above water having, whole tennis balls getting thrown at them. So I'm thinking if this could hit somebody in the eye, and they're forced to not defend themselves, because they're in a pool just trying to float and not drown.
Yeah, and they have to hold the line.
Right, and they're still linked together, and they have this weird thing where the 5 pledges, when they're all together, they're all arm in arm, clutched together to make sure they're showing a sign of unity with each other.
And they weren't allowed to look either.
Right.
Like, they were getting hit so hard that the thing would fall on their face. And no. They're like, put them things back on. Yeah,
they had the headbands on covering their eyes. And man, I'm sure the military is nicer than this.
Yeah.
There's no way they put you through that.
What was another one? I think.
Well, we missed the.
Oh, the car wash, right?
Well, okay, I was gonna say that, and Toya, but we'll get to her in a second.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
The car wash one wasn't even that bad to me. They were just making him wash cars and stuff. And then they asked a really good question to Zurich. He's like, why are you doing this? Yeah. And he doesn't even know the answer at that time. Eventually he has that revelation of why he's doing it when he talks about the African slaves and stuff like that and how we're from kings and queens. And I kind of like that scene.
Mm-hmm.
When he gets his paper done about Frederick Douglass and all that stuff. And one of my favorite quotes is from his teacher, where she was like, "It's easier to build strong children
than to repair broken men."
Yeah, and I think that was a very good quote. And the car wash one was the only positive fraternity scene, besides the one where they called the Big Brothers, that I actually like. I don't think anything else is positive with the fraternity. Maybe when he got let him out the shower punishment.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't think there was anything positive, and maybe
the fact that when he called the doctor as well, I guess that one guy actually said, "Hey, this is getting out of hand. Make sure he doesn't die on us." We'll go to Brother Malcolm. He'll take care of it. At least one guy had the wherewithal to say, "All right, this needs attention."
Yeah, and it was the same guy who was actually leaning on the pledges all through the movie.
Right.
The same guy.
Right. He's also the same one, I think, who stopped Big Country from snapping that one guy's back with the paddle.
Same one.
Yeah.
Same exact one. And then after that, it's a scene with Toya, where basically, I kind of like Toya too. I think she's one of those type of women where she's like, I know what I want, I'm gonna do it.
Responsibly, apparently, but good for her.
Yeah, she knows what she wants. She wants to do it, and then she does lie, though. She lies about what she's doing. I feel like she's not sleeping with as many people as she says she's sleeping with, because she told that girl, oh, I slept with all of them, and then you find out later she didn't really sleep with all of them. And I think Frank was lying, too. Because the way he was talking, I was like, that dude lying.
Wait, about actually sleeping with her?
Yeah.
I feel like Frank might have been the only one to go through with it. The way his character is set up, he's in it for himself. He has no real, filter in his mind to tell him no to not do something as far as something like that goes.
I don't know. The way it came off and she talked to them like she never seen any of them naked too. Later, when she like saw them at that Whataburger, so she didn't like it. Nothing seemed different. She was just like, okay, boys. Like she treated them like children. I think the only one she slept with was that light skinned dude.
I'm still throwing Frank in there. I don't know. He gives me that vibe like he'll probably go down for something like that.
No, I feel like he's a shit talker.
We're pretty also sure that the light skinned guy and one of the big brothers, Edwin, I'm pretty sure he also slept with her. Maybe considering the attitudes of the other big brothers, like because apparently the fraternity is big on like having females and in large quantities.
Well, yeah.
So
I'm
assuming the big brothers at least. Yeah, you're right. Most fraternities are.
Well,
like
they were talking to Candy because it looked like when she walked in there, none of them were allowed to touch her.
Yeah, just for that night, I feel like Edwin did.
Yeah, and like she only interacts with him, so I don't know if she's like. Because I feel like Toya lied about how many people she slept with. Because it showed that in the movie. She lied about sleeping with a lot of people.
And that's in that one instance, though. Because I feel like, I don't want to say because of her attitude. But like, because one thing that could disprove me is the fact that she actually does seem like she was some kind of girlfriend to Edwin at some point. When she at the party when like he brushed her off. Because she wanted to get into the party. And he told her, listen, you need to go. And she's like, stop treating me like one of your little hoes. And that made me think like it doesn't really get too deep into that little thing right there, but like I feel like at some point in time like that might have at least in her head it might have been something she was chasing down.
Yeah, I think Edwin's really the only one, and maybe like 2 or 3 others. But like the thing is, I don't think she sleeps with as many people as she says, because she proved that by lying.
Well, yeah, and that's only because like she doesn't sleep with the ones who say no. I feel like most guys, the way they're built, yeah.
She doesn't sleep with all the people she says she sleeps with.
Well, yeah, and I'm only saying you're right in this context. For the ones who are who are pledging, yes, she did lie about that. But I'm talking about like overall, like I don't know if she goes to college or not, but she works near the college. What we find out, but I don't know if she's like is like, it's just that like college person to go to if you ever need some ass. I don't know. It never really dives too deep into that.
It doesn't even seem like that. Like it seems like she literally only sleeps with Edwin, because like the other brothers didn't touch her.
Yeah.
Like they like go like I feel like they were looking at her like that because they heard stories from him. Because some guys do that. Like they hear stories about a girl, and when the girl walks in, they make those stupid little faces that they were making.
Yeah.
He's like, hi Toya. Hi, Andy. Because they heard stories.
Yeah, but it's that thing though. She's also playing that character though. Like she knows that they're reacting like that because that's what people are saying. But she's also accepting it and playing along with that character, even though you're right. She's only with Edwin.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that she lies about like her actual like. I'm not saying she doesn't sleep around. I'm just saying she doesn't sleep around as much as she's claiming she sleeps around.
Well, yeah, I'm assuming at least for the ones who do say no, which they do exist. And for one reason, I know we're talking about her for a while now. We should probably like move on and say what the big deal is here. But Zurich is in a relationship with I forgot her name. But Zurich is in a relationship with another girl in this movie.
I think.
Roshan. Okay, so he's in a relationship with her, and she's a sweet girl. Like she has a good head on her shoulders, got dreams to get on with what to do after college. And she's pretty much holding Zurich down. And like but Zurich is during the movie he's like sacrificing her in order to make sure that he gets into this fraternity. And that kind of comes to a head in this scene because you're thinking Zurich might actually go sleep with this girl, but then you remember that he has like we haven't counted it, but a couple broken ribs, and he's in no shape to stroke anything. So this is one of them things where it's like, man, you really hope that the fraternities. It's really weird because the fraternity almost forced him to do it. Like he picked him out and said, "Hey, you're about to go have sex with the girl downstairs, Toya."
That's another thing. I think the fraternity knows they didn't sleep with her. I have a feeling.
It never talks about it, but yeah, I also believe that too. I also believe that.
I think she's kind of like a weird test.
Yeah, but until I can prove that Frank didn't do anything, I can't say if the.
I don't even know why you believe it.
He's
a shit talker though. He was all about this good shit, and then when things got serious, all of a sudden that attitude he had went away, and I was like, all right, you a shit talker. You're not really serious. He's a lot of bravado, but like when shit got real serious, he started to change. But he's only one that I think is just doing it for like family purposes.
Yeah.
Because he'll be like the 3rd generation.
Yeah, he's trying. It's a legacy in his family of actually being in the Alpha. What's the last Greek letter?
Don't even remember.
Alpha something, and like it's 2 generations in, which is the
I
opposite
thought
of
it was
what
Lambda. Isn't it Lambda?
Alpha Lambda, right? And he's gonna be the third generation, and Zerk would have been the second generation, but you find out that his dad, he fell out of line for the pledges.
He was like, I ain't doing it.
Yeah, he hit his limit, and Zerk for some reason feels like he has something to prove.
Yeah, he's doing it for the wrong reason. What else? They also shaved their heads.
They did shave their heads, yes.
That wasn't actually that bad.
That wasn't bad at all, right?
Then Hell Knight hits.
Was that all that happened that night though? Let me see.
Well,
I'm trying to sure we didn't miss anything. I feel like, all right, maybe we did.
If we did, well, you'll see it if you watch it.
Yeah, it's on Netflix. You can't miss it, right?
Yeah. Definitely Hell Knight. That's when things get real serious. They go in there. All they have to do is survive Hell Knight, and they're a member of the fraternity. Right? So they go in there, shaved heads and everything. They're getting beer pawed on them. Another thing that got shown again was that stupid wire, and they kept hitting them on their feet with it.
Yeah.
They did that. They did that before, but they
were
did
about
it
to get on
the
their hand. They're about to get on their hands at first. When someone sped up the water before the whole toy situation when they're downstairs.
Oh, that's another one. Yeah, the water thing.
Yeah, like they're like drinking. I don't know what you call those bottles, but like how like in front of some Walmart they sell like water. It's like these really like it's not 1 gallon.
Yeah,
it's like a 5-gallon bottle of water or something like that.
Yeah, that's for water fountains, like in the office. Yeah,
right. Those size things. Like they're trying to like finish that, and like one guy sped it up. I think it was Ernest or something like that. And
he had to
hold out their hands. Like I'm from Jamaica, where like this is an actual punishment in school. Like you hold out your hands and like on the backside of the hand at that, which is even worse. Like they had like a metal wire ready to whip them like runaway slaves, and that's just something I was like, listen, I don't know what the real limit is for punishment, considering like there are a couple like red flags thrown in there. Like granted, the whole spanking thing is a red flag, but I feel like the big red flag with the spine hit he was about to have. I feel like the wire hit was probably about to be another red flag. And let me see. I can't really say anything else other than maybe Zerk getting kicked in the ribs was probably a big red flag, and that was like 5 minutes.
That beating in the basement was all red flags. The spitting in the face.
Yeah, also another red. Yeah, this is
disqualified. All the hazing was red flags.
Yeah.
Especially Hell Week was ridiculous. And another thing that pissed me off in the movie, they kept hitting him in the ribs even though they knew he was injured. That bothered me. I'm like, you saw him pass out to the point he had to go to Dr. Malcolm. Malcolm was like, oh, I'm going to tell the brothers about this. That didn't stop them from hitting Zurg in the ribs at Hell Knight at all. Then they made them eat dog food. And then they did them something where they popped Zurg in the head. And he was like, what the fuck just happened?
It's a weird thing that like stuns your head when like you get both your ears clapped at the same time. And like it really feels like your eyes about to pop out of your head. Like if you've ever tried to like blow air out of your face, and like you hear your ears pop, it's like that but in reverse. And it's these are pretty strong in shape dudes slapping your head like that, and this guy's in no shape to be doing any of this, mind you. On top of the fact that the doctor just told him he has a hard time breathing because his ribs is fractured, and like a part of his lung is getting affected by the rib fracture, and like he can't breathe at 100%. And this is just a whole bunch of things coming together all at once that just makes me think, why are you still going through with this? Like, even though at this point he's already had that revelation of, of the whole kings and queens situation. Like, this is how we're supposed to be built. And like, he's
that's why he's staying with it, because you saw him like strong. He was like mind over matter. But I know like that, like when he was getting that hit in the rib, him and Frank got it the worst.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, him and Frank got it the worst.
Yeah, I think him and Frank got the worst because, I feel like of the 5, they're probably the 2 strongest pledges, I believe. Because the other 2 guys were kind of small, and I'm pretty sure I'm missing one of the guy. Dwight. The Christian guy was also kind of small, so you're right. And I was just thinking, man, I don't know about this, man. They're all in shape, I get it, but this isn't the military. I'm not keep bringing that up. But this is something you prove to someone when you want to go to war to fight for your life and protect someone, not to join a freaking club. Which okay, I get it. I guess we probably should talk about Actually, no, we'll keep on the Hell Knight thing for a sec, because at the moment it starts off, they get pretty much like dragged out of their car in the middle of the woods to come to some kind of barn or something like that. And like you mentioned, they get like bear poured all over them, and they have like a room full of just guys yelling in
at
their
them.
face.
Yeah, and then like
and slapping them in the head and pushing them
Ernest
around.
was getting beat on his feet with the wire. Then they got like the dog food thing, and then like probably the saddest. I don't know what made Frank like foam at the mouth.
Yeah, he was having a seizure. I'm thinking it's like an allergic reaction to the dog food that he is.
Yeah, because he was gagging really bad, and then they started hitting him in the ribs, and then you know he started having a seizure and stuff. And then like they take him to the hospital, and at that point, that's it. They kind of take him to the hospital, and there was a really good scene that I also want to talk about where they said, "Oh, just leave him there," and then someone would get him.
Edwin was really adamant about just leaving him there and like just
because they were scared.
Leaving
really
no explanation.
They were scared for their futures, and
you see,
everyone was like real serious. Once someone was really seriously hurt, all of a sudden they cared. And then they was like all of a sudden scared, and they was like leave him there, no explanation, because they didn't want to get in trouble. And then Zurich couldn't do it anymore, because like Frank was about to take the hits for him.
Right.
When he was having trouble eating dog food, he was doing that for him for Hell Night, and that's why he got beat real bad on those ribs afterwards. And he just couldn't leave him there, and then the rest of them couldn't leave him either, because they were all crying and freaking out. And then the last scene is literally just Zurich crying, because he's like, and I'm like, I hope they get in after all that. Cause imagine, and then part of me is like,
would they?
Would they want to get in? Yeah. Right. Would they want to?
Right,
that's how the movie ends, so you don't even know if Frank's alive or not. But they never say.
You see, I know there's this weird scene where I saw like it was like really small, where Zurich after they put him in front of the hospital, where like he put his hand on Frank's neck to like check for a pulse, and like he had no reaction. Like the movie doesn't tell you what happens, but like my instinct, the way his reaction was, like he just put his hand on his neck and just sat back down and started crying. And then all the guys came back down. They decided to not leave Frank there as they were instructed to do. And I'm just thinking, all right, the only reason that they got like that struck was because they probably didn't feel a pulse, or maybe it's because the adrenaline didn't make them feel a pulse. I don't know. But
I just thought it was because like they felt a pulse, but they were like, why is he not moving?
Yeah.
That's what my thought was, because if he was dead, they wouldn't really sit there for, because it seemed like they were sitting there for hours by the time we saw them again. It seemed like it was a minute.
Yeah.
So I didn't think they would wait just like knowing the truth from them. So they were like waiting, and he was crying. I was like, I kind of hope that they get in and then be like, nah, niggas. Like I hope they do that.
Yeah.
And if they do accept it, please don't continue that type of hazing, because you saw what happened. They become a big brother. They should do better.
And it comes back.
And that's what the professor said.
Yeah.
Like, continue through it, but when you become a big brother, bring the fraternity back to what it was supposed to be, not the crap that is today. That's what she told him to do.
Yeah, it's just one of them things that comes down to the irony of what, like, they're trying to show like how brotherhood is supposed to be and all that. But man, it's like when push came to shove and shit actually did hit the literal freaking fan. The guys here are dying, and like the last thing they showed was brotherhood. They were ready to absolutely leave a guy there, and it was just really weird. I don't know. I feel like and I really hope that this is really how the world works, because I have no experience with any kind of fraternities. But this would have been the one time to show that, okay, they're serious about all the trials that you just went through. We're about to show you the kind of brotherhood that you should get ready to experience after you join our little club. And then they don't. It's really just hood rules. Like, it's really a hood gang for like how it kind of looks. Like the way they have like all these parties and treat girls and treat each other and all that kind of stuff.
Are you talking about the big brothers or the little brothers who stayed?
The brothers who were in school, not the ones outside of school in their careers. Only because of like this whole, like, it looked like a no snitching policy was also in effect. For two cases, but like not when someone's life is at risk though. If someone's trying hard to be part of your family, you don't like leave their body in front of a hospital. At least
they took them to the hospital, because it could have been worse. They could have left them in the freaking farm. That would have been the worst thing they could have done.
That's not enough to save them though.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, you're right.
Them to the hospital.
Yeah, you're right.
And at least Zurich and them stayed.
That's true.
They definitely did stay. Like, I thought it was only gonna be Zurich, but then you saw like the rest of them sitting there like waiting for the news too. So at least they stayed. Like I said, the guy in the dreads, who we never get his name, he was the only smart one.
Yep.
He saw that and he was like, I'm out of here. I'm not paying for school for you to beat me.
It's weird too, cause he was the biggest one, so I'm figuring like he's probably gonna be one of the last ones to get out. Like he's pretty stocky built, he's kind of pretty tall. Like I think Zerg's still the tallest one, but
he's kind of skinny. Zerg's kind of skinny.
Well, I'm talking about Zerg's height at least. You know,
okay,
like,
yeah.
He's not the tallest. He's the tallest one, but he's the skinniest one. But the Dreads, like averagely built all around, he's probably like the most likely to probably pass all these physical tests. And he really only got kicked out because of insubordination. For getting out of line and trying to protect Zerg. But it's just weird. You're right. He avoided all that hell. I personally don't know if something like that is worth it. I still need to get into the details of what these benefits really are for joining a fraternity.
I mean, it's really for like your future.
I get it.
It's like for job opportunities and stuff like that. But
I ain't catching no seizure for no job. I'll tell you that much right now.
It doesn't really have to go that far because, like, hazing has been banned for a lot of attorneys, and some of them secretly still do it, obviously.
Sure.
But it's been like regulated more because you have like a lot of stories where they do like some really fucked up things. I think another common theme I guess was the whole Frederick Douglass thing.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool because this movie is primarily
it's like a HBC,
right? And like primarily African Americans, and I thought that was a cool thing to put in there because oh man, what's her name again? Teacher's name. Her name is Professor Hughes in the story, but she's a big, well-known actor.
Yeah,
actress.
She plays Cottonmouth's cousin on Luke Cage. It's Alfred Woodard, I think that's her name.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, like she, wasn't like a predominant face in the movie, but like she, brought some actual lesson to the movie. So especially that she's, I think, one of the driving points for why Zurich came to the revelation that he did come to.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad that that was put in there as well. That it wasn't just like, hey, this is just a movie about hazing. Like, there's actually like something deeper than that, especially for Black people, to actually reflect back on as far as what you're going through now.
There's another movie about hazing. It's a white fraternity. I can't remember the name. It has Nick Jonas in it. If anyone knows what that name, let me know it. And it ends up, it's kind of like the same trailer for Burning Sands.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it ends up good. I think it ends up really bad. Like one of them ends up killing themselves or something like that.
Yeah.
Because of how bad it gets. But I might look into that movie too. I just know that for me, if after like the Monday, I wouldn't be there no more.
Nah, I'd make it to maybe 10 o'clock on Monday morning and call it a whole day.
Well, if I had the injuries that Zurich had after the first one, I wouldn't be there
Oh,
anymore.
absolutely not. No.
If I didn't get the injuries, because it looked like no one else had those injuries, then maybe. But then after Monday night, nah, we be done.
You see, it also could have been worse too, because not even. I don't know if it's gonna be worse. But like he threw. There's a football that was involved with the whole push-up scene in the beginning where Zurich got kicked, because originally he threw the ball into like some freezing water. Like it's cold in the morning. They're all in hoodies and whatnot. And, like he threw some freezing water, and he told him to like just go dive in there and go bring the ball back. Like granted, I think that's not as bad as broken ribs, but I feel like that wouldn't have been the worst thing that happened, that day if that wasn't the case.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you haven't seen this movie, man, please check it out.
It's not uplifting. I don't think it's uplifting at all.
It can be. If you look at it in the right light, yeah. If you look at it in the right light, it can be.
But I'm not uplifted by this.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about things, but I'm not uplifted by the movie. I get what it was trying to say.
Yeah, there's a message there. If you're in college and a fraternity.
Yeah.
Or especially if you're a pledge, yes.
Not even that. If you're just a Black man in college, there's a message.
Yeah, definitely.
But I don't see myself doing this.
Yeah, like honestly, there's some points in this movie, man, that I was like so angry that like I didn't have any emotion on my face. Like my eyes were open, and it looked like the lights were on, and nobody was home. Like I was like outwardly mad for a good portion of the movie. Maybe like a third of the way in, my face just started getting numb from being so damn mad.
Yeah, they were disrespectful.
I think the basement scene with the spanking, well, quote unquote spanking, is where I like my meter hit its limit, and I was just like, oh no.
And what's crazy? Like this is only a week. So after this week, you're in the fraternity, and then I'm supposed to be cool with you, but you beat me for like 3 days ago.
What did we do after that? Like, no, remember that time where you were about to snap my back? Like, I'm pretty sure someone else.
They were crying too while they were getting beat. That's another thing. They were like,
Yeah, crying and reciting the damn thing. Like, I'm not granted they were taking it, but
okay, one thing I don't know what's supposed to be funny. The stupid duck face they kept making.
yeah, it's like they were scrunching their face up the whole time in line to, like, show aggressiveness. I have no idea how to describe what I was looking at.
It was like a tough duck face.
Yeah,
like grown men.
It was the man duck face. Yeah.
It was like very weird. I was like, stop doing that. I want to say stop doing it, but if they hid, they would get hit. So I was like, all right, I guess you need to keep doing it.
They get hit or face smushed or immediately kicked out or something.
That is the main thing that irritated me from day one. The face smushing thing. It's so mean and disrespectful. And I'm gonna be like, oh, you smushed my face for like a whole week?
Yeah.
Every time I came near you and you didn't like what I did, you'd be like, move. And I'm like,
I can't give you no high fives after that, man.
We can't be like, oh, you're my brother.
Yeah, no. we got to sit down and talk about the things you put me through. Like, listen, man, you put me through a lot of shit. I kind of want to snap your neck. Yeah. Like, I almost drowned. I got my ribs broken. My girl broke up with. Like, we didn't even get to that point, but like, yeah, it was Zerk's girl broke up with him because like he kept brushing her off for the sake of joining this fraternity. And like, this is a good girl that he's missing out on because she has a good head on her shoulders and everything. Yeah. And one of my friends almost died. It's what like, I don't know, man. It's rough. I wouldn't know if going to that fraternity, my only friends will be my the pledges that I was with. Like the guys who went through it with me, those are the only guys I'm gonna be fucking with. Like I kind of hate every last one of you, especially that fat guy with the titties.
Yeah. I mean, I maybe I'll be lenient on the
guy who called Malcolm.
Yeah, the guy with the beard.
Yeah, I forgot his name. Right.
He was probably lenient, but I wouldn't like Edwin. Edwin wasn't as bad. The guy with titties, big country. Oh, you can go to hell. Like I'm not talking. You ain't friends.
And that guy who kicked Zerk in the ribs too.
Oh yeah, that other dark skinned black guy. I don't remember his name.
They don't really get
both of them. No, big country and the other dark skinned black guy. No.
Yeah.
The guy with the beard and Edwin wasn't as bad because I don't remember Edwin actually. Maybe besides the tennis ball scene, I don't remember him actually being abusive to the guys.
I think only in the actual Hell Night he actually actually put some kind of hands on him. But he was only doing things like shoving them around, like making sure they ate the dog food and stuff like that. Because I'm pretty sure for one of them he put like his foot in the back of their head and like put their face into the bowl. And I'm pretty sure that was like as far as it went. And then he's the main one saying leave the body there. I think that's probably his biggest red flag for me in the whole movie. Like you're the main one. Yeah, you're the main one like advocating this leaving a dead body in front of a potential dead body. I'm sorry, I'm not keep saying dead body because I think he's dead. The movie never confirms whether or not it's an actual dead body.
Yeah.
But yeah, he punked out.
But yeah, give any more to say about this movie? Or are we gonna wrap it
up? Man, I could talk about this movie forever for real. Cause like there's so much pent up aggression in me because of this damn thing, man. Like I went to bed in like a bad mood because of this damn movie. But it's alright. I honestly want everyone to experience what I experienced. So like you need to see this for yourself. Yeah. It's a real sleeper movie on it's a sleeper movie on Netflix.
Yeah.
Easy to miss because I don't think it's getting too much play as far as like advertisements for it or people don't really know about it.
Yeah.
Like whether you're black or not, just check this movie out. Definitely.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it's a really eye-opening movie. It works for like anyone who's young or even older people like to look at like college and stuff like that.
Like maybe you're an older fraternity guy looking back at what hazing might be now compared to what it was for you. Hey, and by the way, let us know that like compare what it was. If there is anyone out there who has experience with that, compare how it was back then as far as like entering a fraternity.
Did you experience any of this?
Yeah.
Like, were you cool with them afterwards?
Like did you high five these guys and then like when new pledges came in, like were you the one like smushing them in the face and spitting in their face? Like let me know if you're that asshole because now I want to hate you. Okay, I'm gonna hate you permanently if I find out. But like I want to find out though. But yeah, by all means, give us some feedback and let us know what you think after you see the movie, please.
Alright, so we're gonna wrap this episode up. You can find us on iTunes at Echo Underground Podcast. You can also find us on SoundCloud at the same name. We have an email, echoundergroundpodcast@gmail.com, where you can send us some suggestions or leave your opinions.
Mm-hmm.
Please leave comments. Subscribe to us on iTunes. Leave some comments. Give us ratings. It will look good so we know what to improve on or what you guys want to hear.
Mm-hmm.
SoundCloud, like us as well. And our email's on there as well, so you can check us out through there as well. So I think we're going to wrap this episode up. So we'll see you guys on our next episode. I think. What do we have coming up?
I believe we have an album coming up next. I believe we're diving into Rick Ross, transitioning from, I know it's a weird transition from Ed Sheeran to Rick Ross, but yeah, it'll be. I think it should be fun. Check it out, definitely. It's coming up soon.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna do the next Fast and Furious movie. We're definitely hitting that one. We're probably definitely gonna do Guardians of the Galaxy.
Absolutely.
Wonder Woman coming up. So we have a lot of good things for you guys. So we'll see you on the next episode.
See ya.